Students and Jenga School for inviting me to give this talk. I hope we'll have an engaging discussion, and I'll also get to learn a few things from you since you're the new generation of AI engineers that's coming up. Yeah, so briefly about me, my name is Alfred Ongere, generally a technology and product consultant. I have a background in telecommunications and information engineering. I'm also an innovator, and I consider myself an entrepreneur. I founded AI Kenya in October 2017, which is an initiative meant to grow artificial intelligence here in Kenya. I'm also a CTO, Chief Technology Officer at BeMobile, a telecommunication service that provides international numbers through a mobile app. And then PayLess, which is a digital payment solution that is powering our lifestyle. Other than that, I'm also an international speaker. I speak in local and international events on the topic of AI. So very quickly about AI Kenya, which I think is the main reason why I was invited for this talk. Generally, it's an initiative meant to grow the adoption of artificial intelligence here in Kenya. We started as a community in 2017. We come together to engage, learn, grow, and stay informed on all matters that are related to artificial intelligence. In case you want to learn more, please visit our website, www.kenya.ai, or just search AI Kenya Meetup Group, and then you'll be able to join our community. So today's talk was about entrepreneurship in AI, and while tackling that, I thought it would be best to first of all just share a common understanding about what entrepreneurship is. And this is a definition I got from Shopify, and it's the process of developing, organizing, and running a new business to generate profit while taking on financial risk. So as much as this is financial risk, there might be other kinds of risks that you're taking on, but majorly the main thing here is whatever you're doing, you're taking a risk. You don't know if it will work out or not. You're not very sure that it will work out or not. So entrepreneurship happens at any stage, whether you're still in university, whether you're still learning, even whether you're in high school, in the stages where you're looking for a job, or while in the job industry, or even when you retire. So I'm just going to do some quick examples around that. A very common of entrepreneurship while in university, I think, is Facebook, which is an application I think most of you here have interacted with. I don't know if Gen Z are using Facebook in this day and age, but for us millennials, this was one of the first very popular social media platforms that was started by Mark Zuckerberg in 2003. And also in postgraduates, one of the most powerful search engines that we use, Google, was started by Larry Page and Sergey Brin while they were postgraduates at Stanford University in California. And this has, of course, grown to be the most popular search engine worldwide. And then it can also happen in the job market. So I just found out about this the other day. So Zoom was started by Eric Yuan, who was working at Cisco. He was part of a product called Cisco WebEx, which was also dealing with online communications. And he left Cisco to start Zoom in 2011. So at the core of it, entrepreneurship is really about identifying problems, opportunities, and then offering solutions. So the problem is very, very important. And in this case, if you look around you, we have so many problems around us, right? Or we have so many areas where you can improve something, whether it's the laptop or the phone you're using to attend this session, it's the internet connection, whether it's the furniture you're using to sit or to attend this session and so on. So it's always a characteristic of lack of something, or a certain process is taking too long, or a certain solution that is there, let's say a car or a television or any other gadget, is not getting the job done. So there's a bit of room of improvement. And then you move to how you solve that particular problem. So you're either creating a faster way of doing something, or you're creating something new that is already not there, or you're reducing the cost of doing something, whether it's buying goods, accessing medical care, and so on. And then opportunity. So for opportunity, you're looking at what opportunity is there in a certain area. So you might say that every year there are around 3 or 2 semesters for university students, and at least 1 million students need accommodations every month. That already is an opportunity. So you can decide to create a house sharing service like Airbnb for students. Or it could be opportunities like COVID-19, where now everyone is working from home. We are reducing physical interaction, and people still need to work. So what tools can you create to tap into that opportunity? Then from there, we have something called the business model canvas, which I'm sure most of you might have interacted with. If you are researching more on how to start a startup, or if you are running a business, or if you've ever tried to come up with something. So the business model canvas is what most startups use to manage their business. So you have this aspect of key partners. Who are you partnering with for your particular business, for it to be sustainable? What are the key activities you're doing? Is it software development? Are you building something, and so on? What resources do you need to deliver this particular solution to your customers? What value proposition are you providing for your service that other products don't have, or other products might be having it, but your product might be having an advantage? And then how do you maintain a relationship with your customer? How do you keep in touch with your customer? Is it through emails? Is it through events? And so on. What are the different customer segments that you have for your particular business or product? And then what channels are you going to use to sell your particular product? Are you going to put it on a website? Are you going to sell something physical? And then, of course, the most important bit, the revenue streams. How is your business making money? And cost structure. How are you costing the particular product or service that you're providing? So I'll get back to this at some later points. So entrepreneurship in technology, generally you have the software industry, you have the hardware industry, and you have the services industry. And today's talk, it was majorly focused on AI. So I just wanted to briefly set some context in terms of what AI is and provide some examples. So it's a field of computer science and engineering that is concerned with the computational understanding of what is commonly called intelligent behavior, which most of the case is human behavior, and the creation of artifacts that exhibit such behavior. So in a broader sense, we can say it's a program that can sense, reason, act, and adapt. And under artificial intelligence, we have technologies like machine learning and deep learning. And machine learning is basically one of the techniques of creating artificial intelligence. And here you are working with algorithms whose performance improve as they're exposed to more data over time. Then you have deep learning, which is a subset of machine learning, where you have multi-layered neural networks that learn from vast amounts of data. So just some quick examples of AI products and services. We have natural language processing, where you're creating systems that understand either text or speech data, and are able to process that and be able to engage in conversation, or just extract understanding from all those conversations. So in this case, we have things like chatbots and voice-activated assistants. I think ChatGPT ChatGPT is one of the best examples of natural language processing that we are experiencing in the modern day today. You have your voice activated assistants like Amazon, Echo, Alexa, and so on. We have a computer vision where in machine learning, we are teaching machines, we're giving the machines the ability to be able to observe the environment around them and be able to identify objects. And you have things like facial recognition, object detection. You might have interacted with automatic license plate detection systems when you are going into a mall, you're driving into a mall, and it automatically reads your license plate using a camera and it lets you in. We have robotics where you have mechanical parts that are taking on human actions, repetitive human actions in manufacturing plants. We have planning and navigation where a system is given a road or a path where the system is supposed to navigate through. And through that, you have systems like self-driving cars. You have things like vacuum cleaners, which are able to automatically clean the house without much human input. And then you have predictive analytics. So all this, there's a process that we take to, produce the system. So you have a machine learning project lifecycle where you, first of all, you gather your data, you prepare your data, you wrangle that data, you clean it up, you analyze it, and then you use that data to train a machine learning model. And then you test the model and you improve it until a certain point where you can now deploy it and have it out in the real environment where users can interact with it. So this now generates something I'd like to call the AI value chain, where essentially out of all these processes of the machine learning life cycle, you have potential areas where you can essentially create a specialized service that can now be termed as entrepreneurship. So all the way from ideation or identifying the problem to generating a hypothesis for what you're going to create, gathering the data, processing the data itself, creating the machine learning model, training the model, testing the model, and then deploying the model and monitoring and the performance of the model and looking at what do you need to change in order to improve the performance. So I'm going to give you some examples of where different companies or different ventures have come out of this entire machine learning life cycle of the AI value chain. So in the ideation or problem identification, you could set up a business where you are consulting for other organizations and you are basically helping them to understand how does artificial intelligence work and how can they apply it in the particular businesses. This area is particularly well done by consulting firms and freelancers. So we have some examples here on screen. You might be familiar with some of them like KPMG, PwC, Deloitte, all which are locally available here in the country. Then we have gathering data. So I think all of us know that, or you've had this terminology that data is the new oil. It's a very valuable asset that most companies are chasing because from huge amounts of data, you are able to generate lots of insights that are able to help a business to make better decisions. So the companies that specialize in helping companies or helping other organizations to collect the data they need to train other machine learning models. So we don't have a data set availability problem. Instead, we have a problem of gathering, organizing the data, and making it in a form that machines can use it. So the companies such as Planet that deal in satellite imagery data. So you basically pay them a fee. You specify the data set you want, whether it's Kenya, whether it's a particular town, and then you're able to pay for that. And then you also have survey sites and data collection companies that all help you to easily collect data and organize it in a form that can be used by machines. We also have companies that specialize in synthetic data. So you might realize there are some cases where you only have small instances of the data that you need for your training. So if you want to generate multiple copies that either share the same qualities, the same core qualities of your data set, you can use generative adversarial networks or GANs to generate synthetic data. And there are companies who have specialized in providing that. And then data preparation, which is considered one of the most tedious processes in the machine learning AI lifecycle, where you need to clean the data and make sure it is in the right format that your machine learning model can understand. So you have data annotation companies here, labeling companies, and generally data labeling tools. So data labeling tools such as Superannotate, and then you have companies which employ a workforce to clean your data, such as Summer and Cloud Factory. I think you might have heard some stories around how a Kenyan workforce was involved in creating or cleaning the data that was used to train ChatGPT. This is one of the areas where that comes in. And then we have the machine learning model creation or model deployment stage, where you have companies that are now selling already built AI functionalities and AI models. And all you need to do is just buy that particular model, configure it to fit the data sets that you are trying to train or get output from, and then you have your result. So we have companies such as Vertex AI or products such as Vertex AI, which is owned by the Google GCP program or the Google Cloud Platform. We have the Amazon SageMaker. We have Azure Machine Learning from Microsoft, and then you also have TensorFlow. ChatGPT is also a form of this service because now they'll be allowing more businesses to take the machine learning model and then specifically train it for different use cases, whether it's writing a brief for a sales marketing pitch or whether it is writing a script for a movie and so on. You train it for those particular services and then you sell it to other people. Then we have model training, which most of the time is computationally intensive based on the number of parameters that you're dealing with, based on the size of data sets that you're working with. So there are companies or platforms that specialize in providing this. So you have companies such as Paperspace. We have PuZL Cloud. I don't know how to pronounce it. We have the Google Cloud platform. We have the NVIDIA and Intel compute chips, all which allow you to specifically pay for the service that you're going to use, as opposed to buying an entire center to handle your compute. Then you have model testing and model monitoring, which comes under machine learning ops or machine learning operations. And these are very important step of the machine learning life cycle, where you're inspecting and monitoring your machine learning models. You're looking at your weights, your probabilities, you're looking at your accuracies. You want to make sure that your machine learning model is operating efficiently and doing the right job that it's supposed to do. So we also have companies in this area such as DataRobot, Seldon, Comet, and Kubeflow, all which provide platforms that allow you to monitor your machine learning lifecycle. Then I'll now go to looking at the pricing models for your AI business. So as much as you've already created your machine learning model, you need to know how are you going to price this particular service that you're providing your customers. So if it is in the software space, one of the most popular models you can use is software as a service business model, where you are only charging the customer to access your service. Your customer does not need to have a data center. They don't need to have a system where they need to store their data. They don't need to have an operating system where the software is running, and so on. So here we have a distinction of three particular models. You have the software as a service model, you have the platform as a service model, and then you have the infrastructure as a service model. So for the infrastructure as a service model, it handles the networking, storage, servers, and virtualization environment bit, where this is the service that they're providing, meaning that all these areas in black, they're OS, middleware, runtime, data, and applications will be handled by the customer. So the customer has to buy all these particular services for them to use that particular solution. And then we move to platform as a service, which has some additional modules or layers. So here, it's also providing an operating system, a middleware, and a runtime environment for the client. And the client still needs to have a way of storing their own data, and also have an end application, whether it's a mobile app, whether it's a web browser application that the customer is going to connect to. And then lastly, you have the software as a service model, where you are taking care of the entire stack of requirements, where your customer is just coming to access your application, they use it, and then they're able to pay a fee for that. So the different types of software as a service pricing models. We have the premium model, which is a wide play on free plus premium, where you are providing your customer free access to the product. You are giving them some functionalities for them to test it out. And then you have a premium model, where you are telling them, on top of the free features that you access, if you want to access these additional features, then you have to pay a fee. So that's the premium user business model. Then you have the per user pricing, where you are charging usage of the service or the software based on the number of users who are accessing it. So let's say you have an HR software service that is helping you to track the leave or payroll for different employees in a company. So in this case, you'll be charging per employee that is onboarded to the platform. And then you have tiered pricing, where you have different tiers of products. So let's say you might have a tier for small businesses or SMEs, where you're providing them with a package that they can afford, that does not consume so much bandwidth, so much internet, and so much computation. And then you have another service for enterprise that now has so much bandwidth and computational power, storage, and so on. Then you have flat pricing, where you just have one price based on the different services that a user is consuming. So let's say we take a case of an application that is allowing you to scan PDF documents and be able to sign signatures on that from that particular application on PDF documents. So on the flat pricing, it's just one price, and a user can access all the features. There are no tiered features. And then you have the usage-based pricing, where you have different pockets or different pools or different groups of usages. So let's say we are creating a software that is riding on top of Facebook, and it allows you to see how many people have posted based on location or based on topic. So you could say you'll have the first pricing tier, where you are charging based on the number of results that will be displayed. Let's say 50 results, this is the price. And then for 100 results, this is the price, and so on. So in that way, you are charging the customer based on how much they use the particular platform. And then you have hybrid pricing, which can then now take any of these pricing models and combine them. So the advantages of using software as a service business model is, number one, scalability. So economies of scale. So the more customers you have on your platform, the more the cost of running that particular platform sort of goes down. The average cost goes down. So you can imagine a case where you are paying for servers. Let's say you are paying $100 for servers that can handle traffic for 1,000 users, but every month you are only hitting, let's say, 50 users or 100 users. So at the end of the day, you are still paying for the 1,000, but you are running the cost on a very small number of customers. So that way you're not recovering the money. But if you are paying the same price and you're fully utilizing those servers you have, then it's very easy for you to scale and make more profit. The second point is recurring revenue. So for most of this particular pricing models, premium per user based pricing, they're either priced either on a monthly basis, a daily basis, or an annual basis. So through that, you are guaranteed of some recurring revenue as the user are testing out your product. There's also easier pivoting and modification. If you take the freemium model, you're able to see how are users utilizing the particular service you've provided them on the free model. And then based on that, you're able to make modifications for the higher plans based on the usage they have. Then there's also more market potential and loyal customer base because you have different pricing packages for your customers. So I'm going to quickly just take a case study here of the Lensa app. I'm sure most of you have interacted with the Lensa app, which is an app that generates avatars. So basically you download the app, you upload some of your pictures, and then you choose an editing style from those particular pictures. And the editing styles here they have an AI model that they have trained that is now able to generate images or photos that take the style of cartoons that are very similar to the particular style that you chose. And then through that, they're able to charge a user a fee. So here you can see they have different pricing models. You can either take it per year. You can also do a free trial, or you can also choose it based on usage, based on how much avatars you want from the particular application. So if you want 50 unique avatars, there's a fee for that. If you want 100, there's a fee for that, and so on and so on. Or you could just have no limits in terms of the avatars you need from the application, and through that you pay an annual fee. So as I finish up, I'd like to share some best practices for entrepreneurship in AI. The first one would be around selling value as technology. So AI is not a very new technology. It's been with us here for quite some time, but it has been very popular over the past 5 or 10 years because of some factors like the reducing cost of computational power and the growing access to knowledge in terms of how people can use it to create solutions. So I see many startups or many companies that make a huge mistake on really focusing on the technology. So they focus on selling the technology. So they're telling you, we are selling you an AI-powered marketing platform, or we are selling you an AI-powered HR platform. We are selling you an AI-powered telemedicine platform, as opposed to just focusing on the outcome of what the technology does. So is the technology saving time? Is it making processes faster? Is it boosting creativity, and so on? And this is something you will actually come across when you're working on your AI business, that you need to focus on the outcome or on the value that it generates, because most of the investors you will be dealing with, most of the partners you'll be dealing with, most of the customers you'll be dealing with might not fully understand how that particular AI technology works. So all they're interested in is the outcome of what the technology does. So whenever you're selling your solution, please focus on the outcome. And then don't spend so much time working on the product. Don't spend 10 years, don't spend 2 years or 3 years. Build a very simple prototype of your particular product, your particular idea, and test it with customers or test it with those people around you and get some feedback on it and keep improving it until you launch. Don't wait for so long to make your product perfect. It will never be perfect. Even all the products that have already been launched today, they're still being improved. There's still new features are being added and so on. So it will never be perfect. Just build it, test it, and ship it out. Another thing, partnerships are king. So if you can remember in the beginning, as I was sharing the AI value chain, there are different players in that entire life cycle. So you would need to cooperate with or you would need to partner with companies that are providing services such as compute as a service or GPUs as online GPUs as a service. You need to make partnerships with companies that already have a large group of clients. So whether it's a circle, whether it's a membership group that you're trying to target, you need to create partnerships with them so that you are able to reach your customers in an easy way, or you are also able to make significant savings on the cost of running your business. So if it is something like servers and so on, if you partner with Microsoft, they can give you some credits. If you partner with AWS or Google, they can give you some cloud credits that allow you to now make savings on the computational costs that you will have incurred. The other thing is power of community. So for this, so the talent for AI is in high demand, and this is the demand for specialized AI talent. So we have generalists who understand how to build machine learning models, or they just take pre-built machine learning models and they configure them for a particular use case. But the specialized AI talent I'm talking about here is the people who are able to build a model from scratch, the people who are able to explain how a machine learning model works, the people who are able to easily take that machine learning model and apply it in another use case. So that talent is very, very hard to find. So you need to tap into the power of communities, which is basically people who've come together and who are trying to learn the technology together. That is where you will find co-founders that you can, work on your particular project, or that is where you might also find investors who are looking for specialized talent who already know how to build the technology and they have an idea and they just want to partner with something. So please make sure that you're part of a community, whether it's your school, university, community, whether it's a work community and so on. That will really, really help you to find the right talents to work with. So thank you so much. I'll invite any questions you might have for me.
Thank you so much, Alfred, for that presentation. And I have, to start with, I would encourage, if you have questions, please type them. But I have a question, first of all, Alfred, for you, which is in relation to, is it possible for you to paint to us your view of the current status of Kenyan startup in the AI space that are already there? What is the current status? Do we have some exciting solutions that are already there? What is the current status? Thank you.
Yeah, so the current status, I'd say it's very, very promising. So one of the things that I do with the AI Kenya is highlighting the different businesses or startups that are creating solutions around AI in the country. And that number has really grown rampantly. So I'd say we are getting close to a mature stage of startups that are specializing in providing different services. So whether it's in agriculture, whether it is in healthcare, whether it's in education, and so on. So I'd say we have quite a number of startups, not only in Kenya, but Africa as a continent. So one very good example I'd give is InstaDeep AI, which is a startup from Tunisia that I think started around 2017, 2018. And right now it has grown to an international startup that is providing specialized AI services, and they were recently acquired by a healthcare firm. So I'd say there's promise because the demand for talent has also gone up in terms of businesses that are looking for machine learning engineers, data analysts, data scientists, and so on. So when it started in 2017, it was very rare that you would see every month you're seeing a new job vacancy for machine learning engineer and so on. So you'd say 5 years ago, 6 years ago, in a year, you'd only see 3 or 5 or even 10 vacancies for machine learning and data science professionals. But fast forward to now, where if you go to our website, AI Kenya, we have an opportunities page where we are constantly sharing job opportunities. And every week we have at least 5, or if you average every month, and if you look at it across a week, we have at least 5 job applications for machine learning and data science. So that tells you that the industry has really grown, and the industry is heading in the right direction.
Thank you so much for that. There is a question from Mark Neal, who is all the way from Malawi. Says that the question that he has relates to the issue of, my question is, how can we localize or contextualize AI to solve small problems, our small problems of poor communities? An example of such initiative, if you have any. This is a question revolving around some of the problems that we have and how AI can help us solve them.
Yeah, so I'd say how we can do that is, number one, looking at the outcomes we want to achieve. So one example I'd give is there's a startup, I've forgotten the name. It's a startup or an organization that was using smartphones that were powered, that have an mobile application that has computer vision, and they're able to use the smartphone's camera to inspect someone's eyes or just analyze someone's eyes deep in the village, and then they're able to get a quick diagnosis, and they're able to recommend medical care to whoever they're trying to diagnose. So in this case, the problem that is being solved here is there's a very low number of opticians that are able to reach people in remote villages, and so the amount of time that you would require for one optician to inspect 20 or 50 people in a remote village is a lot of time. So how you shorten that time is you create a mobile application that does not need internet connection to work. It already has a machine learning model that is running on the smartphone, and you're able to take pictures of people's eyes. So you're able to use the app to inspect people's eyes, and you're able to quickly
get a diagnosis, and through that you are able to save so many people's lives, people who might have gone blind and so on. So I'd say there are very many areas where we can apply AI in a local context in Africa or in Kenya. I think the best way to think about it is just identifying the problem first, looking at what is the pain point that is existing in a particular situation and how can we solve it, and then bringing the technology to solve it and making the technology suit that particular environment. So if it's an environment that does not have internet connectivity, how can you take that solution and package it in a mobile phone app where you don't need an internet connection for the solution to be effective? I hope that answers the question.
Yes, actually, McNeil says, thanks, perfect example, awesome. So he's satisfied with that. There's another question, Alfred, for you, which is the issue of power. And I think you alluded to that when you talked about the use of cloud services, which already exist and where you can scale. I don't know whether Andrew is asking the amount of power those power-hungry AI, ML algorithm use is a factor, keeping most small developers, small entrepreneurs away. How do we address this issue?
Good. So I like that question because it's given me very good context. So you're talking about small developers or small enterprises. So for machine learning models, not all machine learning models are, computationally intensive. It depends on context. It depends on the use case of what you're trying to achieve. So it might depend on the number of parameters or variables that you're dealing with. It might depend on the size of data sets that you are working on. Or it might also depend on the number of times, the simulations you need, the different variations that you might be trying to look at. So there are so many moving parts. So if you drill down and if you look at a developer who is just trying to test out a solution or a machine learning model, or a small businesses who is trying to deploy a small machine learning model, at the end of the day, they don't necessarily need a lot of computational power. They will only need that when they want to really scale, or they really want to achieve this training, or they really want to deploy whatever they're trying to deploy in a very, very short time, which in most cases it's a very rare occurrence. So there's this general notion that whenever you're thinking of training a machine learning model, you need a 32 GB, 64 GB RAM laptop, you need a GPU and so on. And the answer is no. You need to first understand what are the computational needs of your machine learning models. They're very lightweight models that can run on your laptop. Even if you have 4 GB of RAM, they might take you 30 minutes, but they will still get the job done. There's lots of material out there from research and from the industry that speak on how to identify how much computational power you might require based on the number of parameters you're dealing with in your machine learning model, based on how big the batch size of your data set is, and so on. So I'd really say we really need to change that mindset and approach it from the perspective of context. How big is this machine learning model? How many parameters are we dealing with? And then from there, we'll know how much power you need. But from the start, for a small business, for a developer, for a student who is learning, you don't really need that much of computational power. An alternative is, if you're not doing it on your machine, there are so many online platforms where they provide free trial where you get to test some computational power, some GPU, CPU online for free. And then if your usage is very big, or if you need more computational power, is when you're actually charged for that. So we have platforms like Google Colab that really provide those services. So I don't think we have a huge barrier when it comes to computational power. That will only come up when you want to scale, or when you want to really go big with your machine learning model.
Thank you. And also, Andrew says that's well answered, so it's satisfied with that. There's a question from Frida, and we're happy that, Frida, you're asking that. Frida is asking the issue of the running path that would advise a beginner who wants to join the AI space. What are some of the training opportunities, or path or running opportunities or path that exist for somebody to on that path?
I'd say so most of the time it depends on the background of whoever is trying to get into AI. So do you have a scientific, do you have a computer science or engineering related background? So the core skills you need, statistics, mathematics, and a bit of programming. And then from there, you have a very strong foundation where you can now start learning on how to build on AI. You can take a self-running route where we have multiple platforms online on YouTube or platforms like Coursera and so on. Or you can take a guided route where you have a trainer who is working with you remotely or in person, and they're able to give you assignments and follow on in your progress and make sure that you are at the right level. So there are already multiple platforms or directions you can take. And the last one, of course, is going to university and taking a computer science or electrical engineering course or a statistics course, and then majoring or specializing now on machine learning and data science. I will say that the best route to take is just make sure you have a very strong foundational set of those particular areas, mathematics, statistics, and programming. And then from there, whichever route you take, whether it's a self-learning route, whether it's a tutor-led route, whether it's an institution-led route, whether it's a university or a platform such as Jenga School, then from there you'll have a very smooth period. And the last thing that's very important is the passion and being intentional that you really want to succeed in this particular field. You can't expect to be spoon-fed. You'll have all the coursework. At one point, you'll be required to come up with your own projects to show that you understand whatever you're doing. So passion and interest is also a very strong ingredient when it comes to learning in this particular field. I hope I've answered.
Thank you so much. And I think that is a very good view, considering that you have presented ideas around the many opportunities and how we can take care of them, so we can benefit from them. So Henry is asking, what are my chances in the employment sector as a self-trained ML engineer? No degree, just Form 4 certificate.
Your chances are dependent on how skilled are you, how well have you understood the concepts that you've learned in machine learning, and how have you tried applying them through either projects that you have researched on your own, and you can take someone through and say, I learned how to build a computer vision model, and I looked for a use case or a problem where I could apply this particular technology, and this is how I applied it. And in my application, I identified these particular areas that needed improvement, or I identified these other opportunities that existed. So whichever route you take, whether you are a self-taught machine learning engineer, or whether you learned it in university or in a particular course, the most important thing is, can you apply your skill to achieve something in a project? And if the answer to that is yes, then it's very, very easy for you to be employed, not only locally, but internationally.
There's another question being asked there, which is a programming language. And the argument is, would you recommend for programmers? So which programming language would you recommend for beginners?
Programming languages are changing and advancing every day, but we have the common ones. We have Python, we have R, we have Java, we have C. You can take any language that you understand the syntax and how it works. So different people are comfortable with different languages depending on what they're trying to achieve. So at the end of the day, once you learn the core foundational principles of one programming language, it's not very hard for you to switch and apply those core foundations in another language. So at the end of the day, you should be flexible to sort of have a very short or brief learning curve when you're switching from one programming language to another. So the short answer is, there is no perfect, I'd say, programming language. The perfect language is the one that gets the job done at the end of the day for you. But some common ones that I expect, I know you expect me to give examples, so I'd say Python, R, Java, and C.
Thank you so much. I think first of all, I want to note that it's this talk that Jenga has brought, and bringing on board somebody like Alfred, is because of the realization that we need to start thinking of that level now of how we can become creators of some of these solutions, because small businesses of now, or small companies that you're building, or small solutions that you're building now, will be big solutions of tomorrow. As you have had the example given of the company that deals with a vision done, that is a Tunisian-based company. And Alfred mentioned it started in 2018, you said, and currently doing very well. So I think this is one of the main things around the issue of bringing on creators, or people who are involved as innovators and creators of solutions. And I want to thank you so much, Alfred, for creating time and sharing your wisdom. We are very happy that we have friends like you, who are people we can talk to and see how we can be able to do it. So this is the company that we are talking about. And also, it's good to let the audience know that there is now a lot of interest in startups that are coming up within our continent. Money is there, solutions are there, and you can have, there are a lot of interest in this. So this is an area that we can be able to explore as well. And I think maybe I can give you an opportunity, Alfred, to maybe say something as I thank you for your talk.
Yeah, I'd say thank you very much for the opportunity to come and share with your students, and also the AI community in general. It's always very important to have these conversations to act as a guide for a student or other entrepreneurs who are trying to get into this space. So it's good, and I'd like to applaud the strong partnership that we currently have at this particular stage. So I can say in my time in university, it was not very easy to come across such talks, but it's now upon us to create better spaces and a better ecosystem for the upcoming generation, so that they also embrace that culture of partnership and just working together. So thank you very much.
So I want to thank you, Alfred. As I've said, thank you so much for giving the talk. I would also want to thank you because these are people who are open on trying to look at how we can create innovations, and that's a good one. It's a path that perhaps most people have not traveled, but you expect that path to be